Golf after spinal fusion is not what I remember playing before surgery. I had to shorten my backswing, lost a lot of distance. I changed the way I warm up, practice, and manage my recovery. I've learned that walking 18 holes affects both my body and my concentration, and one of the biggest improvements I've made actually came from changing my putter, not my full swing. Hey Boom Squad, Back Nine Warriors, and anyone out there fighting for par, welcome to Aim High, Shoot Low. I'm Bobby Golf. Today I want to share what changed, what helped, what I'm still struggling with, and how I'm trying to build a game that works with the body I have now. And if that kind of honest golf comeback content sounds like something you'd enjoy, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to Aim High, Shoot Low. These small actions tell YouTube that this content is worth recommending to more golfers who may relate to this same journey. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions, and simply watching the video genuinely help the channel grow, and I sincerely appreciate everyone who supports it. But before I go any further, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor, a physical therapist, or medical professional. I'm simply sharing my experience, what changed for me, what I had to adjust, and what I have learned through trying to return to golf. Every injury is different, every surgery is different, and every recovery is different. So this is what golf after spinal fusion surgery looked like for me. The biggest thing I had to accept is that I couldn't return to golf and pretend like nothing had changed. My body is different now. I'm less flexible than I was before the fusion. My conditioning isn't where I want it to be. I do not recover as quickly, and certain positions and movements affect me much more than they used to. That meant my golf had to change. The difficult part is that I remember being a scratch golfer. I remember what it felt like to swing freely, hit the ball farther, and expect a certain level of performance every time I stepped onto the course. My mind still remembers that golfer, but my body doesn't behave like that golfer anymore. A major part of my comeback has been learning to not chase the exact copy of who I used to be and to start building a game around what I can do now. That means I had to redefine what improvement looks like. The biggest technical change I've made was significantly shortening my backswing. It was not an accidental change, it was very deliberate. After my spinal fusion, I became much less flexible, especially when it came to turning and rotating around my lower back. Trying to recreate the same long backswing that I had before surgery didn't feel realistic, comfortable, or smart for me. So, I shortened it. This was a major swing adjustment. It changed the way I generate speed, the way I timed my swing, and the distances I can expect from my clubs. The trade-off is pretty obvious. I don't hit the ball near as far as I used to. I may need to hit an extra club or two where I once hit an iron. I may not be able to carry certain bunkers, cut corners, or attack the same holes the way I did years ago. That has been a real adjustment, especially mentally. When I remember hitting certain clubs, certain distances, it can be difficult to accept those numbers have changed. And reality is, I don't even know what I hit my clubs. I have a basic idea that I recorded through a TrackMan session at a driving range 6 months ago, and I keep photos in my phone, and I constantly pause my video to go look at the yardage I hit each club, because I haven't committed it to memory yet. But I would rather hit the ball shorter, with a swing that I feel like I can repeat, than chase distance with an unnecessary motion that stresses my back. I'm not trying to make the longest swing possible. My shortened backswing costs me distance, but it gives me a better chance to control the ball, finish a round, and play again the next day. And that's a trade I'm willing to make. Shortening my swing also forced me to change my expectations. I still want to play well. I still want to lower my scores, improve my handicap, and see how much of my game I can recover. But I can't judge every shot against what I did before surgery. There are days when I strike the ball amazingly well and feel like my game is right there. Then there are days in which I am stiff. My timing is off. and I don't have the same balance, speed, or control. And that can be very frustrating. But I'm learning that the comeback isn't about becoming the exact golfer I was before. It's about discovering the best golfer I can be now. This is what my series, Chasing Glory Days, means to me. I'm not trying to live in the past. I'm trying to use my previous experience and knowledge as a good player to build a game that works with the body I currently have. At this point, I generally prefer to play 9 holes. I can play 18 in a cart, but when I walk, I usually notice pretty significant physical drop-off after around 12 to 13 holes. Part of that is related to my back and the years I spent in recovery doing a lot less activity. Part of it is simply getting older, and I also have to be honest, I'm a little bit overweight, and I'm currently not in the physical condition that I want to be in. And that's something I'm still working on. Early in an 18-hole round, I may feel pretty good. My body is fresh, my concentration is good, and I'm focused on the actual golf shot in front of me. I'm thinking about the lie, the wind, the target, the club I want to hit, and the shot shape I want to perform. But once I get tired, especially on those last 5 to 6 holes, my attention starts to shift. Instead of only thinking about the shot, I start to think on how my back feels. I start noticing how tired my legs are. I start to think about how much further I have to walk. I wonder if I'm getting stiff or if I'm going to be sore afterwards. Basically, I'm no longer focused completely on the golf. I'm focused on how my body feels while I'm trying to play golf. I may rush a shot. I may stop going through my full routine. I may make a lazy swing, or I may choose a club without thinking it through as carefully as I should. The physical fatigue becomes mental fatigue. That's why playing 9 holes feels like the perfect amount of golf for me now, unless I'm riding a cart. I can enjoy the walk, remain mentally engaged, and usually finish before fatigue starts controlling the experience. That does not mean I've given up on playing 18 comfortably. Improving my conditioning is still one of my goals, but I also believe every golf round doesn't need to be an endurance test. 9-hole golf is real golf, and for me, it is often better golf and more enjoyable golf. My warm-ups have also changed. I can no longer arrive at a course, jump out of the car, run to the range, do 3 or 4 swings, and bomb it off the tee like I used to. I need time to move around, walk a little, loosen up gradually, and make slower, controlled movements before trying to swing with any speed. But there are many times that I don't have a chance to do that. Some days I loosen up fairly quickly. Other days I remain stiff for the first several holes. I've had to learn not to force flexibility that just isn't there. It's about finding the swing that my body is capable of making that day. It might mean swinging more smoothly. I'm still competitive and I still want to hit good shots. But fighting my body usually produces worse golf. Listening to it gives me a much better chance. One of the strange things I've discovered is that a normal range session can bother my back more than playing 18 holes. During 18 holes, I may take 80 swings, chips, pitches, and putts, but those swings are spread out over 4 to 5 hours. I hit a shot, put the club away, walk to the next one, determine my yardage, think about what I'm going to do, align myself, hit another shot, and repeat. There's natural recovery built into the game of golf. But at a driving range, smack a ball, roll another one up, smack it again, roll another one up, smack it again. You know how it goes. I have a tendency to hit far too many balls too quickly. I can easily go through a large bucket of balls within 20 to 30 minutes. There's no walk between the shots. There's very little recovery time. And after a while, maybe not so much thought as to what's behind each swing. And by the end of the range session, I'm more sore and tired than if I walked 18 holes. I know what I should do. I still just haven't figured out how to pace myself correctly on the driving range. I should slow down. I should hit fewer balls. I should step back between shots, change targets, and treat each ball like it's an actual swing on the golf course. Instead of hitting 100 balls, maybe I need to hit 30 or 40. That would probably be better for my golf and better for my body. But when you love golf and there's a full bucket of balls sitting there beside you, it's a lot harder to do than it sounds. That is still a work in progress for me. One of the most important equipment changes I've made was switching to my Broomstick putter, the Boomstick. During the first 6 months of this channel, I was still using a traditional length putter, And I putted very well with it. I'm not going to lie. I was good with that putter. But I was noticing I was experiencing a lot of discomfort during the end of the round and after the rounds that I was playing. And at first I assumed it was all because of my swing, which seems logical because there's a lot of twisting and turning and force with a golf swing. But as I started paying closer attention and listening to my body, I realized my putting posture was creating a significant amount of that discomfort. In fact, nearly all of it, most of it, probably 90%. That's what putting streams will do for you. You realize quickly how much your back can take. And with that traditional putter, it put my back in a position that simply wasn't comfortable for me anymore. A putting stroke is not physically violent, but golfers spend a lot more time in a bent over position putting than they realize. If you have a routine, you read the putt, do a few practice strokes, address the ball. Sometimes you stand there longer than you should, and you repeat that on every green. It was the stance and the repeated posture, not necessarily the putting stroke itself, that was bothering me. But switching to a broomstick putter allowed me to stand much more upright. That was a deliberate decision based entirely on what my body was telling me, and the difference has been dramatic. The broomstick has virtually eliminated all post-round discomfort that I was experiencing, and obviously the broomstick has become part of the personality of this channel, the Boomstick. But underneath the nickname and the sound effects, it was a serious adaptation, one that I'm still getting used to. It allowed me to continue putting and practicing in a position that is much more comfortable. I can practice putting for hours on hours without experiencing the same difficulties. And I'm going to be starting my putting streams again, I promise, eventually. Putting is something that I can practice frequently. I really enjoy the practice, and the upright posture allows me to do it without constantly worrying about how my back is going to feel afterwards. The Boomstick isn't just a gimmick. It is an adaptation that has allowed me to stay playing the game. Managing consecutive rounds is another important part of playing. I often play in a men's league several times a week, sometimes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We play 18. You can walk or take a cart. I prefer to walk because I'm working on my shape and endurance, but it does wear on me. I can only walk maybe 18 holes once, maybe twice a week without it impacting any other day. And that means recovery after the round matters way more than it used to. I actually have to think about rest, sleep, hydration, general movement, and if I can do any kind of practicing after. In the past, I may have played 18 holes, went straight to the range and hit a bucket of balls because there was a shot or two that I didn't like. Sometimes the best things I can do for my golf is to put my clubs away, like we experienced the other week, where I tripped and fell over my dog Orbit. Thanks, Orbit. He's deaf. And that can be difficult for, and that one's, this one over here, that's Amos. He's a good boy. That can be difficult for any golfer. We always think one more bucket, one more drill, one more putting session, one more swing thought can fix everything that we just did wrong when we played. But when your body becomes a limited resource, every swing has a cost. I'm learning to spin those swings more intelligently. And recovery is something that no longer happens after golf. It has become part of the overall process of playing golf for me. I have to consider how much I've actually played that week, how much walking I've done, how my body feels that particular day, and if I've got any other rounds that I've got coming up that I need to make sure I can be ready for. There are days when I know I'm capable of playing, but I also know if I push too hard it can affect the rest of my week. That doesn't mean I'm afraid to play, but it means I'm trying to think about more than one round. I want to be able to play next week, next month, and the next several years. Part of returning after surgery is learning that doing more is not always the same as making progress. Sometimes progress is simply doing the right amount. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned in this experience is that progress doesn't always show up on the scorecard. Sometimes progress is walking 9 holes without experiencing any discomfort. Sometimes it's playing 18 without your swing falling apart. Sometimes it's breaking 80. And I used to break 80 nearly every single time. Sometimes it's waking up the next morning and feeling okay. It's accepting that you can use a longer club to hit the ball the same distance and decrease the amount of pressures applied to your back. None of those things appear on the scorecard, but they matter. There have been rounds where I shot a very disparaging score, but I managed my body well, stayed patient, and finished feeling healthy. That was a successful day. There have also been rounds where I've been aggressive and very successful, but I pushed a little too hard and paid for it later. It may have looked successful on the scorecard, but it wasn't necessarily the smartest decisions. I'm still learning how to balance those. I want to compete. I want to improve. I want to lower my handicap. I want to chase some of the golf that I used to have, but I also want to keep playing. Shortening my backswing is not giving up. Hitting an extra club is not giving it up. Using hybrids is not giving up. Playing 9 holes instead of 18 is not giving up. Switching to a broomstick putter is not giving up. Those are adaptations. They are the choices that allowed me to return to golf and continue doing something that matters to me. There can be a tendency among many golfers to believe that changing something means admitting defeat. We want to use the same swing, hit the same distances, play the same tees, and perform the way we remember performing, but sometimes refusing to change is what keeps us from moving forward. My goal is not to prove that a spinal fusion didn't change me. It did. My goal is to find the best way to play golf after it changed me. Golf after a spinal fusion for me is different. My swing is shorter, my distance has decreased, my preparation is different, my recovery is different, my conditioning is still a work in progress, my equipment has changed, even the way I define a successful round has changed, but I'm still playing. That's the part I try not to lose sight of. There were periods during my back problems, surgeries, and recovery when meaningful golf felt very, very far away. Now I'm back on the course. I'm walking. I'm competing. I'm making birdies. I'm still missing short putts. I'm hitting hybrids to greens where I once hit irons. I'm occasionally blasting a nitro crossfire where no golf ball deserves to be. And every once in a while I hit a shot that reminds me of what I used to do. Those moments keep me coming back. This journey is not going to be completely smooth. Some rounds feel very encouraging. Other rounds remind me I have a lot of work to do. But that's what this channel's about. It's about the comeback, the adjustments, the frustrations, the small victories, and hopefully a few glory days along the way. For anyone returning to golf after spinal surgery, any other surgery, a major injury, or years away from the game, this has been my biggest lesson. You don't have to return to golf exactly as you were before. You may need a shorter swing. You may need different equipment. You may need to accept less distance. That's hard. You may need to play 9 holes more often than you do 18, like me. You may need more recovery time. You may need to adjust how you practice. You may need to measure progress differently. And none of those things make golf any less meaningful. Many times adapting is what allows you to continue to play. And continuing to play is a victory in itself. Let me know in the comments if you're returning to golf after back surgery, any other surgery, or major injury. What changed for you? Did you change your swing, your equipment, the number of holes you play, or the way you practice? I think there are a lot of golfers out there dealing with similar challenges, and your experiences may help somebody else. So leave a comment. And if you made it this far so far and haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you join the Boom Squad as I continue chasing the golfer I used to be and discovering the golfer that I can become. Until next time, aim high, shoot low, and continue to fight for par. We'll see you next time.